you? Where are you from? What do you do? And just share with us a little bit about land value tax knowledge you have with us. I would appreciate it. And thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. Well, I'm from heaven and I landed in Switzerland. So funny place to be to, grow up and live. I traveled quite a bit around the world. Once a 18 months journey around the globe, if it's globe. And I studied finally I studied economics. And in my final year at the University of Bern, I came across Henry George, the land value tax, and I was like, oh, that's it. Because I studied economics kind of to understand how I said the cake, the pizza is shared at the end of the year. We produce something it's called gross national product or whatever. Yeah, well, yeah, nicely. But where is it going? Who gets which slice, right? And that is not addressed at the university at all. So in my final year, I was looking for a thesis to write about and stuff, and some visiting professor mentioned Henry George and poverty and stuff, and that was my issue, is poverty and the environment. They go a little bit together. If I'm poor, I can't really take care of the environment, or I do stupid things just to earn that $1 a day, right? I go down and chop down some Amazon trees, or I pour some poison down the well because my boss said, pour that sucker down there, and I'll do it because I need the money. So poverty and environment are kind of connected. And so I started to look into it. That was in the mid-90s or so. Had great help by a professor of the US, Nick Tiedemann. It was the time when the internet came on. So I was like, oh, somebody's responding my questions. Well, when I finished, I really tried to convince my fellow Swiss somewhat that this is just needed. If we don't switch our forced taxation system, right? It's like part-time slavery, what we have. I go to work and you take a share. No, not really. And we have these days, it's like kind of officially, I know in Germany, it's like, I say now, June 7th, they celebrate that from now on you work for yourself. So till June, imagine that, January, February, March, April, May, I wouldn't have to get out of bed if I wouldn't have to work for those. I call them the mafia. It's legalized mafia. And yeah, a part of just stealing my life energy through taxation, it's also causing a lot of harm, detrimental economic effects that come through taxation. So yeah, so I tried to wake up the Swiss a little bit, but I was a little bit ahead of my time, I guess. I went to the left, socialists. I said, I need to change that, and your problems which you address every day, they will be kind of solved. They said I'm a capitalist. So I went to the other side and talked to them about land value tax, and they said, I'm a socialist communist. And I was like, can you guys talk once and agree on what I'm supposed to be, and then I can argue? Because I see the land value tax and kind of made my thesis like that as well. It's like, it's the middle. It's like, yeah, everything happens on land, and without access to land, or you have to pay someone to have access to land, you're a slave. That's like, there's a good movie out there. It's called Jones Plantation. It's like how this white slave master got some consultant who said, well, free all the slaves. They will work better. You don't have to whip them. You don't have to guard them. You don't have to do nothing. Just free them, and you're the landlord. You also run the plantation shop where you can buy the foods and stuff.
That's a
It's the
good
same
movie.
thing here. It's the same thing here. And it's kind of funny about Switzerland because Switzerland in that sense is very, very unique. We are 70% of us are tenants.
Mm.
So we are no better than any landless peasant on the globe. We pay constantly to be here. We pay at home, rent. We pay at the work. Well, the boss pays, but that goes out of our wages. And we pay when we go to movies. We pay when we go to a tienda, a shop. Uh, we pay constantly to be here. Those few who actually own the land, forget the 30% who own their own little home. That doesn't really count. They would be better off with a land tax than without. It's the main urban center, the commercial centers. It's if you look at the airports or our train stations, they're not train stations anymore. They're like shopping malls with train access, so to speak. If you go in a train station in Switzerland, it's incredible, how they commercialize the whole thing. It's shop after shop after shop, and they take advantage of, all laws are pretty stupid or their ways around. So you couldn't have your shop open after 7, huh? So the law was close the shop at 7. But at the train station and at the gas station when you go and buy gasoline, that's considered, you know, purpose of travel. So they can have they have their opening hours as they wish, right? So people actually drive their cars now to the gas station to get food because the local shop has to close at 7 or whatever the time is. And also our, say, train stations again, the amount of advertising in there that's just splashing in your brain is just unbearable. And advertising is one of the prime, what you say, examples of a land value tax because those billboards, they don't use real lot of land, right?
Okay.
It's flat screen kind of thing. And the value comes from all the people passing there. So again, the land value cannot be created by a landowner. It's created from the community, from the outside. How many people are there? And so that defines the land value. All right, so I did that. I founded an own association and went around Switzerland for about 3 years, informing people, always be in front of the parliament building so that our parliamentarians cannot say, I did not know about this. Got, of course, greatly ignored. Then I decided as well that I just run for governor of my state as a means to reach more people. Kind of worked out okay, but the media was, not portraying me. They weren't telling the people, oh, there's election and you can vote for A, B, C, and D. And so I got left out. And then I've done it like 6 times, I think. So every 4 years, I was like, oh, hello, if you vote for me, I'm going to change that crap you're experiencing here and I'm going to free you. You're no more slaves. But then, I
So
took,
you are the John of Swiss. I mean, you are the John of Switzerland.
sorry?
You are the John and John Plantation. That guy wants to free them. Now you are the John that wants to free Switzerland.
Right, yes. So I'm trying to, the Swiss are fun in that way. We have a history of this guy, Wilhelm Tell, right, who shot the big landlord, so to speak. And, but we don't live it. We accept that we're slaves. And they can do whatever they want to do with us, which they show with this false pandemic. Nobody's in jail here. Why not? I mean, jail would be kind of nice, but I'm not actually in favor of jail. 2 reasons. I would have to pay for that. I don't want to. And generally, it's useless. it's a cost to society. It doesn't do anything for the victims, so to speak. Not go hammer some stones or whatever, work your debt, your damage off what you did. So anyway, and then Switzerland on top of it is, of course, kind of the head of the snake. Pascal Nashari talks lot about it. If you go down to Geneva, every international organization is down there. In Basel, we got the Bank of International Settlement. If you know a little bit about the money system, pretty bad, pretty evil, pretty a fraud
Banks. There are
again.
many banks that are famous in Switzerland.
I say that used to do. I say Swiss banking is totally finished. We used to have the bank secrecy, which kind of bothered me. That guys like I say now Idi Amin or I don't know who could have their money here. But to me, then I met the Russian actually in the 90s, and I was doing a documentary about Willem Tell, and he was telling me, no, the bank secret is good, and because it's nobody's business how much money you have, as long as you can actually say, well, I made it in a decent way. I didn't kill anyone. I didn't abuse anyone. That's my business, and I made money. It's fine. Be rich. Be wealthy. That's great. The wealthier, the better. You're driving afterwards a Ferrari, which goes in my mechanic shop, and I can fix it. And I like to work at Ferrari's better than some old junker. So everybody in that sense profits. But the Swiss gave up under the pressure of the United States corporation. They gave up the bank secrecy, which again allows them now to just go into the bank and take your money. I had it happen to me several times where the government just goes and says, hey, bank, he owes us money, give it to us. And I'm like, no, not really, but I can't do anything. They got the guns, so I'm a little bit stuck with this criminal affairs. I consider the government to be uh, the heart of the problem. All problems come from the government. The government is the mafia. There's no mafia without government, without making rules that you can go around. I know Latin America has a lot of problems with narcotics. I'm like, well, just legalize the whole shit, and then there's no more problem. Same thing with this government here, these criminals here. Just legalize that stuff, and then we're
But
fine.
we have been said that Switzerland is like the human rights place where everybody goes there, and it's like the example to follow worldwide.
Yeah, it's a nice little story they tell us and they tell in the world. But no, I'd say it's the center of evil. We got, if you take the pandemic again, we got Gavi, we got several other ones, we got the WHO. So it's nice talk, but it's evil. Again, we got the World Economic Forum. You will own nothing and be happy, and you will eat the bucks. So this is like what you say, the turntable here, where everybody meets. They might come with nice intentions, true. Like there's going to be something in Colombia, UN summit, and so the words are nice for the Agenda 2030, what we want, the development goals and stuff. It sounds nice, but that's just on the paper. In the end, it's really enslaving all the people worldwide. And you can only stop them by, taking your life energy out of it. So as long as we pay into a system that enslaves us, there's nothing going to change. We pay for it. So yeah, now Switzerland has, there's like a myth about it, but no, it's the head of the snake, and the banking is basically finished. We just have a little scandal. Nobody gets too excited about it, so to speak, and, which is from the political side. All our social security funds now are managed from the US. So if the US decides Switzerland's not doing so great, we freeze those funds. Our social security is gone. Plus, just a simple question. So if our funds, we're dealing in Swiss francs here, go to the US, they have to turn into US dollars, right? And then when they come back, they have to be turned back into Swiss francs, I would assume. So who's making money on that already? And we're talking billions and billions. So you only need 0.01% of transaction fee, and it's nice in the US, not the Swiss banks anymore. Again, they're finished. They basically all got usurped, put together in one bank, the United Bank of Switzerland, UBS. There's no more other banks really. That's finished. So they control everything. Try to get a loan from them. Try to get a mortgage from them. No. And we have, in that sense, negative interest rates. You have a bank account. They take every month. They take like $10 for running that bank account. Sorry, what's the cost of running a computer number somewhere? Nothing. So they enrich themselves. Again, Switzerland has the advantage of being that hot pot spot where everybody meets and deals. And so they probably leave us a little bit alone while the rest of Europe goes really down the toilet. You look at Germany, ooh, finished. Austria, a mess. France, a mess. England, can't say a word over there, otherwise you go to prison. No,
Freedom of speech.
yeah,
Freedom of speech.
freedom of speech totally gone. And yeah, so I think that's why Switzerland is left a little bit on the side. Plus, we have the guard for the Pope, right? And there comes in the Vatican somehow. So what exactly is the relation, or what's the influx of the Vatican onto Switzerland? How did that historically happen and stuff?
Yeah, there is just so much to talk about that I guess we will be learning from you. Many of these things that you're saying are new for us, but I appreciate it that you're sharing all that stuff with us.
Yeah, I want to add one thing. Yeah, maybe. I lived for like 5 years in Vietnam, just about when they opened, or 10 years after they opened to kind of market economy. And I was like, I've never seen such a free place, so to speak. And I had good conversations or talks with government people. But then on the other hand, like all these UNDP development program and the Asian Development Bank and the World Bank, all these guys came in with suitcases of hundreds of millions of dollars. And of course, they were listened to. I just saw today a lady in Saigon. I think she has the death penalty because she just, grabbed all the land.
Oh,
But anyway, the Vietnamese were saying always like, oh, we have so much corruption. And I lived in Tanzania as well for a few years. And these people always said, oh, we have so much corruption. I said, well, at least you know the corruption. But here they're not aware of how much corruption is within the system. It's much smooth made, so to speak. But yeah, again, the important thing is to organize the people on the local level and kind of fend off the other forces. I hear like in Mexico, there's villages or towns, they actually kicked out the government. They even kicked out the narcotic cartels, and they do self-defense. You don't do anything wrong there. You're you're dead. You're done. And I think we got to take things in our own hands again, and not send our funds, our life energy. Money is nothing than transformed life energy. I have to go to work to earn some money to give to these groups.
yeah, well, this is just very important to know all of those things that you have said, and we will learn a little bit more. But I guess we will have you in another session. So I'm inviting you to be with us live.
Okay, my pleasure.
First to November 1st, we're gonna have this event in Colombia, and I will let you know through your text messages.
Yeah, it's interesting times we're living in. We see this whole transformation. It's really a spiritual battle, good versus evil, and hopefully we come through. Whether we make it on an individual level or so, that doesn't matter that much. But for our children, grandchildren, if we should ever, if you believe in reincarnation, should come back here, I don't want that shit place anymore. And
Yeah.
I'm reclaiming back this country here, this land from these crooks who call themselves government and banksters. No, go, leave. Give the land back to the people and tax it according to its value, as Henry George formulated in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you to please say ciao to the program by telling us something specific about Saint Henry George's philosophy. Like in summary, how can people understand George? Because it's a person that was from the 1800s and maybe people.
1900s, huh?
Okay,
Uh,
1900s.
uh, yeah, well, you can look him up, and there's lots of you find it in Spanish and in other languages. I mean, he was a philosopher before, so to speak, an economist, and of course, his truth could not be because the robber barons in the U.S. and the kings and queens over here, they didn't want to hear it. But and the people got sent into two world wars. Great. Okay, let's start the world war, and we can just kill off millions, and there's no opposition and whatsoever. So they did a great job over the time. And that was before Henry George. But one thing that really stuck in my mind, and when I read or when I read him, when I read parts and stuff, it's always like stunning the things he kind of foresaw or and which we're actually living in. I mean, he didn't know we're going to have airplanes, right? That was before that time. He didn't know about this, he didn't know about that. But the situation, the way the whole thing is played is exactly the same thing. And he said if we don't do that land value tax, if we don't capture the rental value of land for the benefit of the people, do what's needed as infrastructure, and the rest we redistribute as a citizens' dividend, it's going to be dark, very dark. And it's kind of darker now than it's ever been. Like, we got this freaking genocide happening there in Israel. We're watching it. My government is not saying anything. We're killing Ukrainians by masses, so cannon fodder. No, it's good. We could sell a little weapons here. Uh,
Yeah.
it's incredible what we witness.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have to take the power back to us. Each individual can be the Mahatma Gandhi, well, be the change you want to see in the world. Take sense of responsibility. Don't comply with that freak show system out there. Don't get intimidated. Uh, yeah, so that's very important. And yeah, look up Henry George. You'll find quotes. You find many famous people who supported him, who go along with his thoughts. But of course, he had to be quiet down. Like on another subject would be Nikola Tesla. You can't have free energy going around the world. You can't have a free life going around the world. If you're the master, the slave owner, you don't want that. So we get dumbed down. We have to go 9 years to school to be really dumb and compliant the whole time. Say yes, that's it, and yes. There
Yeah.
was another thing I had in economy. It was all math. It was all formulas, and I was like, yeah, A plus B square or whatever makes C, so to speak. Yeah, but what is A? What is B? And what is C? You know, the
Yeah.
math is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah,
You don't
I
tell
got
me what that funky number shall be.
it.
And yeah, we got really dumbed down. Yeah. So, okay, I'm very happy
Thank
to
you so much.
help out in whatever way I can for people in Colombia, but also worldwide. We just have to take things in our own hands, basically in a peaceful way. But yeah, at one point you have to stand up and say no.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. So.
Thank you, Lily, for all you do.
Yeah, thank you for all the knowledge, and I hope to see you next time in live program. So
Okay.
we'll contact you soon.
Good.
Thank you again,
Great
and
day.
bye for
Bye.
now. Bye bye. Thank you.